Hi everyone. With this quick slideshow, we're going to talk through the letters of interest versus letters of intent and give you a few tips on when to send the letters, what the difference is between the two letters, and what you might want to say in each of those letters. So what is the difference between a letter of interest versus a letter of intent? A letter of interest conveys that you are still interested in that medical school, but you're not committing to attending. You're not saying that that school is absolutely your number one choice. So because of that, a letter of interest can be sent to multiple medical schools. A letter of intent is you saying this is absolutely my number one choice and I will attend if I'm accepted. So because of that, you would only want to send a letter of intent to one school. Now, officially, could they hold you to that? Is this a binding agreement? No, but with all things, you want to remain professional and kind of put forth your overall kind of best guess, sort of being as transparent as you can be. So you don't want to send a letter of intent to more than one school. Should you send one? The first thing to determine is whether the specific medical school has an explicit policy stating that they do or do not accept additional letters. So if the school says, we welcome your updates and additional letters of interest or letters of intent, then you want to make sure that you're sending the letter through whatever method they prefer. They might say to upload it to your application portal. They might say to email it to their main address. If they don't give an indication one way or the other, I would first look to see if in the admissions portal they do have a section for extra letters or extra updates. If they do, great, I would put it there. If they don't, then I would send the main admissions email address. If the school says they do not accept any additional communication or information following the interview process, or sometimes even following the original application, you absolutely do not want to send an additional letter. That kind of can signal, yes, I know that you have these policies, I'm just not going to follow them, which isn't necessarily the best foot forward to put. If a school doesn't give an explicit direction one way or the other, then it's a pretty safe bet that they're okay with accepting them. And again, you would just want to send to the main admissions email address. The second thing to think about is how recently were you last in touch? So say you just interviewed a week ago and you were sending a thank you note a day or two later. It may be a little bit soon to send another communication. If, however, you haven't been in touch for 3 or 4 weeks, then it certainly is a reasonable time period to send an additional letter. So what do you write? The first thing that you want to do is to draft an email, or if you're uploading it into a admissions portal that looks like a professional letter. So you want to start typically, dear members of the admissions committee. You always want to state what your current status is. So as you might expect, admissions committees get all kinds of emails. You want to let them know that you're an applicant in the 2019 cycle, whether you're post-interview, whether you've already received a decision and are currently waitlisted. You just want to let them know where you currently stand within their process. Then you would want to say whether it's a letter of interest or a letter of intent. You don't have to say it directly, saying this is a letter of interest. But what you would want to say is something like, I'm writing to convey my continued interest in your medical school. Or alternatively, I am writing to state my intent to matriculate to your school if accepted. Then you'd want to add updates about anything you've done since your last communication, whether that was your interview or whether you've sent additional updates since then. So you want to include any of those updates. It doesn't have to be long. The letter overall is great if it kind of takes up one computer screen or less of an email or of a formal letter. You definitely don't want it to stretch beyond one page. So add a couple of updates, and then you'd want to inform the school why you think they're a great fit for your medical education. What I would really encourage people to think about is this as a we opportunity, not as a me opportunity. And what I mean by that is often letters of interest or letters of intent will say, this is what you can do for me. This is why I feel this is the right place for me to pursue my goals within my medical education. You want to also make sure you're signaling what you would contribute, how you would give back to the school. So for example, instead of saying something like, the free clinic that you offer specifically for veterans is a great fit for my interest in working with Veterans Affairs and would allow me to have better access or better understand that population of patients. That's a very me-oriented approach. Instead, what you could say is, I'm thrilled to see that your medical school offers a free clinic in support of veterans. In my past, I've had a very strong passion for working with veterans and would love to continue to contribute to their overall health and well-being. That's more of a we're in this together, here's what I can contribute to your school, not just sort of, here are the gifts that you could provide me with if I were a student there. So when do you send such a letter? And perhaps how frequently do you send such a letter? You definitely want to convey your interest and that you're eager and you're involved, you're active still in your search without stretching into a potential stalking situation. So you definitely, every day is too frequently, every week is too frequently. Right now, we're about to hit the April 15th and April 30th deadlines. So just to clarify those deadlines one more time, by April 15th, any student who is accepted to more than 3 medical schools needs to indicate the top 3 choices and release their acceptances from any other school. So as of April 15th, some medical schools might start receiving information from their accepted students that says, I'm no longer interested in your school, please remove me from your list. So they might start thinking about possible waitlist movement or additional offers at that point. On April 30th, every single student who is currently accepted to medical school needs to whittle down to 1 school and convey their plan to enroll. A plan to enroll does allow that student to continue to remain on wait lists at other institutions, but it signals to a medical school that right now you're my top choice. So because of that, additional medical schools or the schools that they didn't choose will see that that student has planned to enroll elsewhere, and then will know that their spot is open within their school. So it's great for you to send a letter of intent or a letter of interest that is right around these deadlines, so within the next couple of weeks. That way, if a medical school is starting to look at their wait list, starting to look at making additional offers, they know who's still really interested and who's really interested right now. As you may expect, after April 30th, a whole lot of chaos might erupt. So there might be schools who are now accepting students off of their wait list who previously held spots at another school. So that student might decide, okay, I'm taking the new school and giving up my spot at the old school. Now the old school needs to fill that spot. So there's kind of this big domino effect that will happen starting April 30th and can reasonably continue throughout May, even into mid to late June. So because of that, you would want to continue to be in touch with the medical school every 2 or 3 weeks after that April 30th deadline. The schools know that a lot can change from week to week, sometimes from day to day. So it's good for you to kind of keep up that interest. So if a month from now, the school now has a spot that they need to fill, they can look and see, well, how recently did we hear from Timmy? Oh, it was just within the last couple of weeks. They're probably still interested. Let's take a look at their candidacy a little bit more. So again, you want to pace out that every 2 to 3 weeks. I would really recommend, though I know it sounds cheesy, keeping track on a calendar of when you communicated and with who. I think we all know that when we're in a waiting by the phone or waiting by the email kind of zone, time can feel endless, when really it might only have been a couple of days. So it's not uncommon for a student to, for example, forward me an email and say, I last reached out a couple weeks ago, it's been a while, should I follow up again? I look at the date stamp on that email and I see that what felt like 2 weeks was actually about 4 days. The other thing that is important to remember is business days versus weekends. So if you send a message on a Thursday, Monday is not actually 4 days later or 5 days later. Monday is about 2 business days later. So you want to make sure, again, that you're kind of pacing yourself out so you convey that interest without seeming to kind of hedge into that stalker territory. And then finally, a question that we get a lot is, if I'm sending an update every 2 or 3 weeks, I don't have a lot to update, or the reasons why I'm interested in that school may not have changed. It's absolutely okay to not send a same length email or same length letter every single time. It's okay to just kind of send a short note and to say, just wanted to quickly be in touch to let you know that I'm remaining interested in your school. If you have already planned to enroll elsewhere and you're on a wait list, it's okay to say, though I have planned to enroll at another school that accepted me, I am very strongly considering your school and would welcome the opportunity to accept a position with your school. It's absolutely okay to do that. So you just want to, again, kind of continue to convey where you are in the process and what you're sort of offering or suggesting at this point. So I would, though I have planned to enroll elsewhere, I would absolutely welcome the opportunity to gain an acceptance to your school and pursue my medical education with you. That's a really good thing to remember. The final thing that I would say is once you commit to enroll in the Choose Your School Planner, if you say you commit to enroll at any institution, you are effectively withdrawing yourself from consideration everywhere else. So if you still want to remain viable on a wait list elsewhere, you want to stick with plan to enroll, not commit to enroll. Once you commit, as the word indicates, you are committed. So just remember that difference. The other thing that you'll want to remember is for the school at which you may currently plan to enroll, they will have a deadline by which you either need to commit to enroll or withdraw from that school. So they'll have a date where they're like, nope, you're not on wait list anymore. We need to make sure that you're coming because school is starting in a month and we need to know who's going to be here. So make sure that you are marking that date on your own calendars and that you are committing to enroll by or before that deadline. You don't want to accidentally leave yourself kind of out in the cold because you have not yet committed to enroll at the one school that you continue to hold an acceptance at. As always, let us know if you have questions or concerns. We're happy to help with that. And also, as always, keep us updated on how things are going and whatever else we can do to help. Thanks so much.